active in. So let me try this. Here we go. Voila. So I hope you like the video. This was to give you a little flavor of what we do. Thank you for being here. My name is Christophe Semai. As I mentioned, I'm based in Singapore for eye care. I'm actually business development manager here for the Southeast Asia zone. We opened an office in Singapore in July 23 last year, basically to follow the market, be closer to our clients and provide you the best services we can. I'm not alone today. Peter Van Kamp, our Chief Commercial Officer, is there. Hi, Peter.
Hello all. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Good day.
Yes. Thanks.
Good morning for me because I'm in Europe.
Yes. Hope it's not too early. Let me just admit some more people. Yeah. So yes, Peter is in Europe, traveling a lot. So not always sure in what country you are, but what country is it today? Is it Belgium or not?
Today is Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
So pretty close. Pretty close.
Great. We also have some other colleagues. We have Adimas just joined. Adimas is one of our colleagues in Indonesia, working on asset maintenance in I think the palm tree and cacao production. So hi Adimas, good to see you. We also have some other colleagues from Europe, Laura, Tim, Günther, good morning or good afternoon. So some words on the company before we start. For those of you who don't know eye care, we are actually born in 2004. We like to say that we're in industry 4.0 since 04. So maybe before the hype started, we've been in this a long time ago. Since then, we have grown quite a lot. We're not 750, we're actually 850 today, roughly. Why? Because we're hiring quite a lot for the moment, roughly one colleague per day. So yeah, the slide was written a few days ago, and that's why it's 850 now. No, but we're having a good growth. Now, this is not to brag. I think this is to show you, dear participants, that we are providing value to the market, and yeah, basically the market keeps coming to us for additional services. So I think this is a witness of the quality we can bring to you. We are quite visible in some parts of the world with innovation prizes, entrepreneurship prizes from Ernst & Young. We got quite a lot of visibility recently, and now we're growing in 12 new branches of the world. Basically opening one office per month. Basically, Singapore was one of them. In July, we did a launch event here in the Marina Bay Sands. Again, this is to follow the market. More and more of you are going to predictive and prescriptive maintenance, and yeah, we're here to support you. We're active in several sectors, actually quite a lot of sectors, basically all the sectors that are asset intensive. where you have assets to monitor, we're there to support that industry. You might ask yourself, what do we do? I like to synthesize in saying that we're actually asset or machine doctors. Our mission is changing the way the world performs. So by making sure your assets don't break down, that's really our mission, making sure your assets work well. We want you to reach better performances. If you have good assets, you basically reduce a lot of risks. You increase productivity, you reduce your quality risk, you avoid accidents. Of course, for the finances, it's always better to have machines that work well, that don't break down. Yeah, energy consumption is also quite important today. So if you have good assets that are performing well, you can optimize your asset energy consumption. Let me admit some additional participants. We have strong values inside iCare. I would say the first one is, I would say, respect for people. It's worth inside the company. I can value this since I joined. Yeah, we make sure we build respect for all the people we work with inside the company, but also as a client and customer, we're in here for the long run. We're here for, you know, a long-term relationship. So we will build this relationship step by step, you know, by first building some small tests with you and hopefully, yeah, get to know each other for the long run. So we're here for sustainability for the planet, but also, you know, for our relationship and making sure we bring you sustainable solutions for the long run. Now, how do we bring these this asset health to you? We focus on, I would say, two core fields, two core expertises from iCare. One of them is predictive maintenance. So today, you know, the industry, one part of the industry is in preventive maintenance. So every 10,000 hours, you will replace your bearings, you will put some oil. Today, we go away from that, we go to predictive. So we predict based on data when your asset need to be maintained. This means you can reduce your maintenance costs because you don't maintain when you don't need, but you also avoid failures because you see them arriving before the next maintenance slot. So that's predictive. We can even go further. There's prescriptive, where you prescript like a doctor a solution to your asset. So if you know exactly what the root cause is of your potential failure coming up, you can prescribe like a doctor a solution to improve the maintenance of this asset. Peter will present you a solution we're bringing to the market today called We Care as a Service, WAS. This is a great solution to avoid investing CapEx. Yeah, there are solutions today that require a lot of CapEx. We are bringing to you today a WAS solution, We Care as a Service, which is an OpEx model where basically you can, in a very short time, get an asset maintenance plan up and running based on predictive maintenance and data. I will go further. Yeah, what is the value that we can bring to you? This is an example of a petrochemical client where we measured the overall equipment effectiveness. So as you know, this measurement is a reflection of availability, performance, quality. The more your machines are available, the more they perform, the more they are within the quality requirements, the higher your OEE. Now, what you can see here, between 2015 and 2018, OEE was quite diverse. It could be very low, very high. So the little blue dots are the monthly OEEs. The green is the yearly OEE average value, and the red are the min and max values of OEE. You can see that in 2015, 2018, the values were quite widely dispersed. The average value was quite low. And then this client went to predictive maintenance and started implementing in 2019 and 2020. And so what we can see here is that the average value has basically increased quite significantly, but not only the average value, the range, the dispersion of asset performance has narrowed down. So with predictive maintenance, you can really increase the efficiency of your machines inside your factory or factories. And well, this is one of the examples in the petrochemical industry, but we can show this also in other segments. So yes, what can we help you achieve today? We think that we can target, depending on where you start, we can target a 98% reduction in downtime. So we make sure we work with you to avoid machine downtime. And if you achieve this, which we will do our best to do, you will get 10 to 20% increase in productivity of your plant. These are the orders of magnitude that we achieved with our clients the last 20 years. Next slide. Yeah, I talked enough. I think, Peter, let's move on to this part. Please go ahead.
Yes. Thanks, Christophe. So as you said, we care as a service is the one thing that we see as the lever for you, for the end users, to go into predictive maintenance, or more to say into digitalized predictive maintenance. But maybe the first question we need to ask is, why do we believe it's a good time to start with that approach, with your digitalized predictive maintenance approach? Why should you invest in that today? Well, some would say that we are in some sort of a new industrial era, and we actually are. That's for sure. Some would rather say it's a hype. In any case, at iCare, we believe that we need to use this digitalization approach to help you better manage your assets. So now, how do we help you with that? Basically, our goal is by making sure that we shift that hype from something that would be temporary to create something that creates a long-lasting impact. And as such, it will allow you to increase your uptime, create higher customer satisfaction, work on your cost reduction on maintenance, which are typically goals to go for digitized predictive maintenance. But there are still people that are refraining from this approach, who are a bit afraid to jump on it, for the simple reason they think they don't have enough data, or they don't have the capability to interpret that data. And that's exactly where we will jump in. That's exactly where we will provide a solution that is called We Care as a Service.
Great. Thank you, Peter. So, yeah, I think it's good to maybe show you again a video. As we say, our words are good, but yeah, images are even better to show you what we are bringing to the market today. So here's a little video on our new wireless sensor and predictive maintenance solution. we go. Let me do the next step. Okay, so I hope this gave you a little visualization of what we basically do on the field. So we deploy sensors. These sensors, allow to see a lot of elements inside the machine. This goes to our software platform. This allows detection of failures, and your team is informed of failures before they arrive, so you can quickly work on your assets. But Peter, please go ahead. You had something else to
So
add. What?
why would you consider WeCare as a service? In essence, WeCare as a service is an all-inclusive solution that allows you to deploy that predictive maintenance in one go without any hassle, without any, I would say, restrictions on our end. It is a solution that we have been developing for quite some years now. On the one hand, of course, in really the research and development, otherwise also on the other part also in the business model. But actually, what we see today and why we are here today is the launch of our WeCare 130 Generation 23, the sensor you have seen in the video. It's actually the best example of that development. So our aim with WeCare as a service is that we can free you up completely from the implementation of a digital PDM solution by taking it all in our hand. And so that model doesn't require, as Christophe already said, any upfront capital investment, but still provide you all the output that you actually want. And basically what you want to see is information on that asset health and the predictive maintenance part, but on top also insights on how to improve that asset health, the prescriptive part Christophe was speaking about. So basically those two things you will get out of a WeCare as a service without you needing to worry about all the bits and pieces that come around to get that up and running. Christophe will jump with us now a little bit more into the details of why then a new sensor.
Yes, thank you, Peter. So maybe one of the main objectives also for the new sensors that we are deploying, I don't know if you can see it, but this was actually the previous generation of our sensor. We're talking now about the 4th generation, which is this one. You can see the picture here on the slide. So this is actually what we're talking about today. It's a new vibration wireless sensor, the 4th generation of this wireless sensor. Why did we actually do this? Well, it's to allow mass deployment, firstly, of course, while respecting quality. Today, we monitor 300,000 assets across the world. 300,000 assets on a daily basis, so that's quite a lot. More and more of our clients are now moving to digital monitoring of these assets using these sensors. It means, for every asset, sometimes you have 5, 6, 7, 8 sensors. That means quite a lot of sensors to produce and to deploy. If we had to do it with the previous generation of our sensors, the 3rd generation, this would have taken more than 1,000 years to support our clients today who are all moving faster and faster to the digital monitoring of assets. So we worked on simplifying and making these assets more easy to produce, while of course focusing on quality, and we'll talk about these aspects now. So one main element that I could mention is the autonomy of the new sensor. That's a big difference with the previous one. Not only the fact that you will get it quicker. Let me admit some participants. Not only that you will get it quicker, you will also have additional autonomy. So the battery lifetime has been extended to 5 years today, where the previous lifetime was maybe 2, 3, depending on how you use it. Today we're at 5 years of autonomy, and this is in high resolution mode. So this is where we sample 4 times per day. 3 different vibration axes. Let me admit some additional people. So mass production, but of course more autonomy. I move to the next slide. Let me just move my chat box. So by the way, for those of you who don't know our previous generations, we're actually a wireless sensor. So it's plug and play. You don't need any complex wiring. You just put it on your asset. The lifetime I just mentioned, we're up at least 5 years today of battery lifetime, which is great. We also worked a lot on the broadcasting, the networking aspects of our sensors. These sensors, they need to communicate together to bring back the data to our platform. Today, we have optimized the networking topology, the broadcasting topology between sensor and gateway to make sure we reduce consumption and we also extend the broadcast range. We're mostly focused on rotating assets with these sensors. Let me add yeah, some key unique selling points. Today, we have the non-ATEX version, but we also have the ATEX, meaning you can deploy these in explosive environments. A lot of our clients in petrochemistry on offshore ships are active in explosive environments. Our sensors are ATEX proof. These are the ones with the orange labels. We also have the blue ones, which are non-ATEX. Something else is the frequency range of our sensors. We today can monitor for a very low frequency, 1 hertz, all the way up to 20 kilohertz. Why is this important? Some vibration specialists are probably here, but the wider your frequency range, the more you can actually see. Like a doctor, the more you hear inside the body, the more you can identify what a potential failure could be, and ahead of time. Of course, having a wide frequency is not great if you cannot measure this frequency, this wide range. So we have today 16,000 lines that measure this frequency. So we can cut this 1 to 20 kilohertz in 16,000 lines to really see the slightest frequency change, frequency/amplitude change, spectrum change. We send the whole spectrum to the gateway. We don't just send an absolute value. We send the whole spectrum, and we use the spectrum to identify failure modes and actions that you can take to solve your problems. We're also very rugged, so we can work in harsh environments and withstand today 50 G of shock, which is quite nice. Did I forget something, Peter?
I think you touched on the main point. So basically, the story behind is that we had our first generation sensor on the market since 2013. After a few years of development back then, today we took that I would say that setup and we improved it. For a few reasons. One, of course, to improve the technical specifications. Secondly, and most importantly, to be able to mass produce the sensors. And actually, we can say today the production line who is installed in Belgium is up and running. It's spitting out sensors. So if you are ready to deploy, we for sure are.
Thank you, Peter.
I see that there's some questions coming in.
Yes.
So that's
good. Let's have a look at the questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to interact in the chat box, and we'll basically go through them.
We'll start with Sjoerd, who asks, what does the sensor we saw in the video actually measure? Vibration, temperature, others? So Sjoerd, it is based on triaxial vibration, and on top we add temperature. And those are the main parameters we measure, with maybe a key differentiator for the people who are a little bit into vibration analysis. It's the vibration part is based on piezo electric sensors. So that's a very deliberate choice that ICAR made to not give in on that part. We still believe that that is the best technology available today to perform as we want it to perform.
Yes, how does the sensor stick to the vibrating machines?
Yeah, so also there, imagine that you need to install 1 million sensors, because basically if we look at our install base and converting those into a digital predictive maintenance approach, we need to install these 1 million sensors on a pretty short notice. Then also the installation, the way you install them is very important. As said, it's a triaxial sensor, which means that it also needs to be in the right direction. So we actually developed our own mounting pad, which will be which will the sensors be fixed on using an hexagonal screw. And as such, we can glue the pads and then afterwards install the sensors very, very fast and have them immediately in the right direction. So basically, what that points to is that every single detail on the sensor is being well thought through to avoid any time loss in installing, any data loss when operating, still good quality data, and so on. And that leads to the question of the 16,000 lines. What does that mean, 16,000 lines? Well, you could say with 16,000 spectral lines, it's actually the accuracy of your spectrum. Imagine you measure from 1 to 2000 hertz, and you say, I'm going to do that with 16,000 spectral lines. That actually means that your spectrum is built up out of 16,000 data points. Usually we don't need it, so usually you go somewhat lower, but 1,600 to 3,200 is the bare minimum. And that's a very, very important parameter to get quality data in that then our people and our AI can work with to transform that information into information, because that's actually what you are after. We know bad data means bad results, so we don't give in anything on the data part. Okay.
With the WAS program, who is the owner of the sensor and the data, Peter?
Well, the customer is the owner of the data. Let me start with that. We think that's very important. We know how important data is to any of you, so we stick to that. The sensor, if you go for a we care as a service approach, the sensor remains ours. Also meaning that we take the ownership on for instance, when a sensor needs to be exchanged, we will provide you with new sensors. For whatever reason, if it stopped working, and which still could happen, it's an electronic device, or when the battery is end of life, we take care of that for you.
Perfect. Are there any other questions from the participants? So, yeah, these new sensors look much better than the old ones. It would be great if they worked with the Pure.
Well, that's exactly one of the next development steps, Ian. Obviously.
Yeah. So what is the Pure? The Pure is basically our handheld tablet that you can use to walk around your factory and measure wireless sensors, but this time on a route-based. So it's not fixed sensors that you put usually on your critical assets, your bad actors that you want to see every day. This is more for ad hoc or route-based maintenance. So we also have these tablets working on that. So if there is a change in my plant and we need to modify, replace an asset, do you replace the sensors or do we do it ourselves?
Well, what we foresee for an end user is that there's replacing a sensor is actually pretty easy. So we provide you with a one-page lesson on how to do that. We will train your people, and you can do it yourself. That's the fastest and the easiest way. There are models where we take care of everything. That is certainly a possibility. But given the fact that it's pretty easy and that we can remotely make sure that we keep everything up and running, it's pretty easy for you to do it yourself.
Yes, indeed. WAS is based on a monthly subscription, I assume. This question from you, Stuart. How is your pricing model built up? Is it per sensor?
Well, what we do in many cases to make the life of the customer easy is not work per sensor, but work per asset. For instance, per pump. Why so? Because typically the cost allocation for an end user is also per asset. So we provide a monthly subscription fee per asset. There are customers who precisely know how many sensors they want, and then we are also able to work with a pricing model per sensor. And then thirdly, of course, if a customer wants to acquire the sensors and have them in their own ownership, that is still a possibility as well.
Thank you, Stuart, for the question. Fung Swan Lim, hi. How does the sensor stick adhere to vibrating machines? Is it by magnetic plates? You have multiple solutions, huh, Peter?
Yeah, we have multiple solutions. The solution that we use the most today is a glue pad that we developed ourselves for very, very fast installation. Again, imagine that you want to install 1 million sensors and you need to provide magnets for all those 1 million sensors. You can imagine that has a heavy impact on the cost because magnets are not cheap. So for fixed installations, we usually go for glue pads, but we can still do stud mount, we can still do magnet mount, and so on.
Do the heavy vibration dislodge the sensors sometimes? Can that happen?
Normally not. On top, as you might have seen in the design, if you have a doubt about a certain machine where that could happen, there is a lid on there. On the lid, there is a little hook where you could even install a little wire, so the sensor will never be falling really off. There was a typical customer request, which we took into account in the design.
Great, thank you. Yes, Bambang, how many sensors usually use in one machine? This will
Well,
depend.
that's a very good question, and that's a bit dependent on the asset. Typically, we foresee the amount of sensors based on the need of the asset, and then there's two categories. You have complex assets which require some more sensors, let's say up to 12, and you have simple assets which require 4 to 5 sensors. Mainly, it is dependent on the distance between the bearings. So as the ones who are a little bit at home in vibration measurements know, high frequency vibration data doesn't travel too far. So if it's too far apart and we still want to be able to accurately detect all the failure modes we want, we need to put 2 sensors on that component. If it's close enough to each other, we can do it with only 1 sensor. But basically, as end user, you don't need to be worrying about that. That's our job. That's our task. We will provide you an overview of which sensors will come where based on what the actual assets need.
Yep, all inclusive. David, if the sensors measures only vibration and temperature, how reliable are predictions to downtime?
As predictive maintenance and based on vibration is already known for 30 to 40 years or maybe even longer, very reliable. We claim to have reliability above 99%, meaning that if a failure mode presents itself, and then we need, of course, to be specific on the type of failure mode, which is the by design failure mode. If one of those presents itself, we will detect it. Vibration and temperature are the main and the best PDM technologies to accomplish that. That's why if you look at the predictive maintenance program today, the lion's share of that approach, of that work, will always be vibration. That's why we tend to know it to call it the cornerstone of your predictive maintenance program.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, are there any last questions from the team? Okay, by the way, so today we're focusing on APAC. We're active here in Singapore, but yeah, we have colleagues in Indonesia, active in South Korea. We are looking at other regions also. So yes, we basically go in every of these regions for you. So you can call us and yeah, we will set that up for you. I see there's a question on how long the sensor lifetime.
If your question is oriented versus battery lifetime, up to 5 years.
Voilà. In our WAS, we also make sure that you are informed of when the sensors need to be replaced, and we even manage the replacement. So yeah, for peace of mind, if I can say. Good. Thank you for your questions. If there are any other questions, I see Fung's one, any thermographic sensors for heated surface in electrical SiC gears? Do we have this in stock?
I'm not sure whether I understand the question.
Yeah.
Could you try to specify a little bit more on the thermographic sensor question?
Electrical switch gears, I guess.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll pick out the next question while
Yeah.
we get maybe some more input on that question. If I understand well, you still use a gateway. What is the range of the signal for the gateways, for example, in the larger ATEX environments? Well, that's a very good question. Actually, if you're a little bit at home in wireless topology, there's two main streams. You have a star topology and you have a mesh topology. Basically, what we do is between sensors and gateways, we use the star topology, and we can connect up to 50 sensors per gateway. And then the gateways between themselves, they make a mesh. So a gateway connects to the cloud or to another gateway nearby. And as such, it's pretty easy and straightforward to cover large areas and still get the data out, because we only need one connection to the outside world by one gateway, and the rest of the gateways will speak to each other.
Yeah. One, you precise that you want to detect the hot surface in electrical switch gears before the hot surface causes fire.
Okay, I see. We do use thermographic cameras in our approach with customers, but it's not yet in an automated version, meaning with the sensor that is hooked up to IC.
Thank you. Good. Okay. We will probably stop it here, Peter. What do you think?
I think the questions are gradually drying up, so
Yeah.
I hope it was interesting for everybody. I would personally like to thank everybody for having attended, for being here. If any questions, you can reach out to us and we will for sure help you with that.
Yeah, so don't hesitate to reach out and we'll have a chat, a copy together, or just come in your company for a more detailed discussion. So thank you again for being here, and we hope to remain in touch, and yeah, keep in touch for the next events in Southeast Asia and APAC. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.